Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. You're watching Newsnight with me, Ngozi Alebu. Federal lawmakers in the Senate were, during the week, polarized over a bill that seeks to legislate against open grazing in Nigeria. While the bill also seeks to establish a National Animal Husbandry and Ranches Commission as the only solution to end perennial clashes between farmers and herders in the country.
My distinguished colleagues, now is the time to bring about a law to stop open grazing. It is old-fashioned, hazardous, burdensome, and must be discarded. The bill therefore proposes ranching as the only viable alternative for cattle breeding in Nigeria.
I'm against the idea of restricting movement of Nigerians from one state to another.
No, that would not happen.
Right now, citizens of Nigeria are allowed to move from one state to another to establish business without any hindrance whatsoever.
It affects everywhere in Nigeria.
Yes.
Nobody can restrict
pastoralists
movement.
and citizens of Nigeria, they can move to North Central, Northwest, Northeast, South, and establish their business without
they can do so, but not with AK-47.
These Fulanis are Nigerians. They don't even benefit anything from government. They don't enjoy schools. They don't enjoy hospitals. They don't enjoy any roads. All the housing programs done by government, and they don't enjoy them, nothing. So to just throw them away like that because they happen to come from they are assumed to have come from states that may not have even enough water, enough grazing area. And you say you can only be done in that state. I think it's not going to work.
As we consider this, I also want us to look at the Land Use Act as an impediment to this particular very wonderful bill to ensure that we can get and put to rest this matter of herder-farmer clash.
Apart from the Constitution, like Senator Alero said, the ECOWAS protocol is part of the problem that we have. You can quote the Constitution, but what about the ECOWAS protocol? It allows you to move anywhere with your business. We allow you to move anywhere with your cows. So in getting towards realizing this, you must be very conscious of your laws in the nation because you are not making a law for your state.
Right, let's have this conversation with National Coordinator of the Coalition of Northern Groups, CNG, Jamilu Charanchi. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome, Mr. Everybody. Thank you for having me.
I'm sure you listened with rapt attention to the arguments for and against, open grazing. Yeah. First, let me get your thoughts on this whole open grazing idea. Some are saying, look, in 2024, Nigeria really should not be talking about open grazing. That it's time to go the way of ranching, just like her, neighbors, whether it's in Togo, Ghana, wherever. That ranching is the way to go. And besides, like a lawmaker pointed out there, that these people are not enjoying amenities, they're not enjoying healthcare and all of that. But can they enjoy these amenities if they continue with the nomadic lifestyle? Let me get your thoughts.
Well, actually, you see, Nigeria shouldn't be talking about so many things in this year,
right.
But we are still talking about it. When we are talking about the issue, is not the ranching is the problem, but for someone just to wake up and decide to just bring a bill in the house just to stop movement of the cattle from one place to another or from one state to another, that is ridiculous and unacceptable. In fact, it is abuse to the sensitivity of all northern Nigerian peoples. How do you feel if, for instance, today the Kano state government decided to revoke all the COO of all the lands, the front road, the shop there? How will you feel? There was a time when
Are you comparing this?
Yes.
To...
No, let me just finish. There was a time when some people called for that Nigerians, those are in the south part of the country, they should move to the south, and those in the north, they should move to the north. A clear separation of the country. But all the elites in Nigeria converge together and say no to that. Why will you restrict somebody from taking his legal business across the country? You see, we have criminals everywhere in the country. We have criminals from Hausas, we have criminals from Planis, we have criminals from Igbos and Yorubas as well.
Right.
We have seen so many criminal activities taking place in all the geopolitical zones in the country.
No doubt about that. Yeah.
So why will you say, had it been you are talking about ranching, let's talk about ranching first before we talk about open grazing. What do you have on ground for these herders? Do you have the settlements? Do we have all the forage crops? Do we have all the grasses? Do we have all the hays? Do we even have the places to put in place for the ranching? These are the questions we're supposed to
as
talk
far
about.
as you're concerned, they're putting the cart before the horse.
Exactly. Exactly, this is what they are doing.
Before the cart.
But
who will provide these things that you talk about? Who should be providing the ranches? Are you saying that the government, whether the federal, state or local government, should be providing land for ranching? Or should the pastoralists and those who actually fund, the nomadic lifestyle, who own those cattle, should they not be the ones buying land wherever they choose to? I doubt very much if there's any Nigerian law that stops any Nigerian from wherever to acquire land.
That is the bone of contention. That's the bone of contention. Because if you are saying that you are making a law or enacting a law to protect open grazing, as good as you are restricting some Nigerians from exercising their legal right of taking business in every part of the country. But now, had it been the government has unanimous agreement, either from the north, from the south, that okay, so square kilometers on each state should be demarcated for these herders. And the herders are not allowed to be moving openly since we provided all the necessary amenities for them. That one is understandable. But now, you are saying it that who is going to provide? Yeah. And this one, all these things are not on ground. All these things are supposed to be on ground. If it is the local government that will provide it, let us know that the local government will provide it. If it is the state government, let us know that the state government will provide it. And if it is the federal government, let us understand that the federal government will provide it.
But do you see with those who say, look, this is business that can be maximized, to the highest level if it's properly harnessed. And since it's a business, the business persons who are behind, herding and what have you, can purchase land.
Well,
are you saying that government should come in?
Are you not unaware of Uncle Barrow's program?
Right. Okay.
It's a program established by federal government just to complement the effort of the farmers. We have commissions created by the federal government, like NDDC, just to support the people in that region because they are being marginalized or something of that nature. We have the creation of, OMNADEC during the Babangida's administration, Oil, Minerals, Producing something Development Commission. We have the Northeast Development Commission. So why can't we have the National Pastoralist Commission? Right. So that at least the National Pastoralist Commission, we have a blueprint of how the herders or the pastoralists can do their legal businesses in the country, how they are even being checkmated. Number of the cows we have in the country. You see, such kind of business is taking place in Eritrea, go to Ethiopia, go to Egypt. They have the number of cows that doubles the number of cows in Nigeria. And they are practicing this ranching and nobody is complaining about it. But let us put the amenities on ground first.
You do understand that part of the bill, one of the things that the bill seeks to establish is a National Animal Husbandry and Ranches Commission.
Well,
is that
actually,
different from what you're asking for?
No, let us have the commission first. Okay, right. We now have the National Animal Husbandry Commission on ground. And this commission took up and begin to do all their legal activities. Then the National Commission will also provide the availability of that ranches and will demarcate the ranches where the ranches is supposed to be, and even will demarcate or will guide the movement of these herders from one place to another, because we have the commission. But if you don't have the commission, now the National Assembly enacted the law that the herders should not be moved from one place to another. They will stop there. And who will take care, who will control the movement of the herders? Who will restrict the movement of the herders? Who will even take charge when the herders move from one place to another? Who will take the responsibility of punishing the herders? And what are the sources or the availability of forage, grasses, or even the maize straw that these herders is going to use? This is the bone of contention. We are not saying that we are not welcoming the idea of ranches, whatever it is. But for you just to wake up one day, bring a law or bring a motion in the house just to stop the movement of the herders from one place to another is as good as you are restricting the right or the privileges of Nigerians to take their legal business in every part of the country.
It's still at the stage, it's still a bill. It's past second reading, understandably so. I mean, it's not like government is going to put this in place right away.
Okay,
and don't you think within the time that this bill is being looked at and some of the suggestions are being made and laid before the Senate, that you can come up with creative ideas as to how best, to address this open grazing challenge?
No.
Because, I mean, come to think of it, is there any other country in the West Africa sub-region, or in Africa for that matter, where open grazing is still the norm?
Okay.
Aren't you concerned that Nigeria may be left behind?
I think you have just finished discussing about minimum wage. Let's not compare it with Nigerians and other countries on the minimum wage. Nigeria is still behind. That's why I told you that Nigeria in 2024, we shouldn't supposed to be talking about so many things. but we are still talking about them. Yeah. Come to compare local government autonomy, we are still talking about. This local government autonomy is supposed to be, in fact, a thing of history, but we are still talking about it because the governors are enjoying the dividends of this FAC allocation of the local government. If I may give you an example, I know in my state, that is Katsina, whereby the local government, in 9 months, the 34 local governments get almost 100 billion naira. But this 100 billion naira is touched in the treasury of the state government. And this is the same governor that spent over 10 billion naira 11 months on security. The same governor that is mentioned spent over 20 billion naira on his tree refreshment, utility, and other things.
Now that you mentioned,
these are the kind of leaders we are having in this country.
Now that you mentioned that, how do you think states can actually come in to, bring about the realization of this ranching idea? Well,
you see, actually, that's why in recent time, in January this year, we had a round-table discussion on the issues that are bedeviling insecurity and the economic development of northern Nigeria. You see, the approaches has to be multidimensional in the sense that each and every segment or stakeholder in the northern region has a contribution to make. You see, when we come together, an all-inclusive method that you know your part, I know my role, and this gentleman knows his role that he's going to play, it is only through this means that at least we can get out of this quagmire we found ourselves in northern Nigeria. You see, the things has deteriorated beyond imagination, especially in the northern part of the country. We need to sit down. We need to think. We need to have leaders that have focused ambition. We need to have leaders that have humanity in their minds. We need to have leaders that know the value of their people. We need to have leaders, not politicians. But it is unfortunate that we are having politicians in northern part of the country, and a politician always think how to secure next election.
Well, this is not just a northern Nigeria problem. The issue of open grazing, it's done in every part of the country, in the southeast, in the southwest, everywhere.
You see,
have cattle.
You see, do you know why these herders are moving?
Yeah.
Because in the northern Nigeria, almost we are only experiencing one rainy season. And in that rainy season, you will only get that green posture in that rainy season. When it is dry season, then the animals could not get that greener posture. Then they have to move. You see, in the ancient days, when man begins to move from one place to another, is moving because of in search of a greener posture. Right. But when there are developments, things were put on ground, we begin to settle. That's why we are settling. That's why there is rural-urban migration. Absolutely. But you hardly to find out urban-rural migration. It's very limited because people are looking for what to eat, what to have, and how to even do their lives. So when all these amenities are put on ground, I believe that if this money, especially the local government allocation, were used judiciously by the politician, I doubt much even if the herders will even have the intention to move from one place to another.
While this debate goes on, while the debate rages, is there any plan by the northern elites or people like yourself to actually help, get these herders to embrace this new way? Are you helping them understand, look, this is very important for you to do if we go the way of ranching? Are they even being prepared for that at all?
You see, that's why we are having engagement, series of engagements with different major stakeholders in the north. In fact, last week we were in Kano discussing with these bloggers, social media, and artists in the northern Nigeria. To you people, you should know how to use your talent to contribute towards sustaining economic sustenance in the region. You people should champion the struggle of this insecurity in northern Nigeria. Immediately after Salah, we will have the same discussion with our people from the National Assembly, with our ulamas, with Christian clerics, and with all other segments. We had discussion with the Northern Governors Forum. We had similar discussion with the traditional rulers in the northern part of the country. You see, that's why I said it's multidimensional approach. A multidimensional approach, I believe that you have a role to play there.
Right.
So when we have this on ground and people agree to participate and to contribute honestly with all sincerity of purpose, I believe that all these hardest issues, not only hardest issues clashes, but all the issues of problems bedeviling the northern Nigeria and the country at large will be a thing of history. But we need to have leaders.
And that's what the problem is.
We need to have leaders. Leaders that have the fear of God. Leaders that will act as the messengers of God. People, leaders that have people in their minds. Leaders that believe that they come to serve, not to be served. Great. Leaders that have passion for humanity and they are there to defend the humanity. Leaders that even know the value of themselves. This is what we need to have in this country. In as much as we cannot have leaders, I believe that this thing will be like just a story.
I'm wondering if I should just let you go on this note. I have to say thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Joining us.
You're welcome.
On Newsnight. Jamilu Charanchi, National Coordinator, Coalition of Northern Groups, CNG. Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.